everyone and welcome to Creative Cakes by Sharon. Today I'm making a Shopkins cake. Now if you don't know what a Shopkins is, there's a fair chance you haven't had a chat to anyone under 10 years old lately. Shopkins are super cute, tiny little characters and each one is based on a grocery item. In the Shopkins series there are a few limited edition characters and today I'm making a cake of one of those limited edition characters. Here I've got Cupcake Queen. Now this cake is very special because it's for a very special little friend of mine named Stella. Stella's been a long-time fan of mine and I've been lucky enough to make this Cupcake Queen for her birthday, which is actually tomorrow. So happy birthday Stella darling, thanks for watching all my videos. I hope you have a wonderful day and enjoy your limited edition Cupcake Queen cake. So let's get started.
I have here a giant cupcake which I've already baked and cooled. And for this cake I wanted to add some filling, so I'm going to cut some layers into the bottom and the top of the cupcake, fill with some vanilla buttercream frosting and reassemble the layers. It's going to be much easier to work on the base of this cupcake if it's actually upside down, so I'm going to flip it over for now. Now the top is actually the bottom of my cake, so I need to attach a cake board using a little bit of the frosting to hold it in place. Now I'm going to do a crumb coat on both halves of my cupcake, making sure I come right up to the edge of the board. The crumb coat has crusted up a little now, which makes it nice and easy to apply a second coat of the frosting. I'm going to make sure that I can't see my cake through this layer and use the cake board at the top to guide my spatula around the cake. Now to get a nice smooth surface on the crumb coat, I'm using a piece of card from a cake box, so you can be sure it's food grade and safe to use on the cakes. And once I line it up on the top edge of my cake and with the bottom of my board, I gently spin the turntable, scraping off the excess frosting. I'm going to keep repeating this process, and once I'm happy that it's nice and smooth, I need to place it in the fridge while I work on the top half. Now for this part, I'm going to pipe the frosting from the very top all the way around the cake to the very bottom. Now here again I've got a little piece of cardboard and I've just cut a nice round section out of it, and I'll just show you with another little piece how to do this. This is going to help form a nice shape for the frosting on the top half of the cupcake. So starting from the very top point of the cupcake, I'm just going to gently press my cardboard into the frosting and slowly drag it around and down my cake until I reach the very bottom. I can keep going around little sections at a time, scraping off any excess, making sure I've got a nice rounded frosting swirl. Once this is done, this also goes back into the fridge and I'll remove the bottom half of the cake. The limited edition of the Shopkins Cupcake Queen has a gold base, so because we don't have gold fondant, I'm going to start with some yellow fondant and then add some gold luster. So once I've rolled out my yellow fondant, I'm going to brush on some simple syrup over the frosting, and this is just a boiled and cooled mixture of sugar and water, and this will help the fondant stick to the cake. Once the fondant is on, I'll slowly work my way all the way around the cake, carefully opening up the pleats and smoothing it right down to the very bottom. I'm going to trim off the excess, leaving about ½ an inch of clearance. I'm just going to cut out this top circle of fondant to reveal my cake board. Add a little bit more of the frosting to the top of the cake board and then get my cake presentation board, center it nicely over the top and press it down onto the frosting. Now very carefully I'm going to flip the whole thing the right way up. Once I carefully remove this board, I'll gently press down the fondant over the edges. Now to make the gold luster, I'm using some rose spirit and royal gold luster dust. These are both edible and safe to use on the cakes. The rose spirit helps to apply the luster nice and evenly on the cake, and it dries very quickly. To apply the luster to the cake, I need a nice soft brush, and I like this one because it gives a lot of coverage at one time. Now while I'm adding the luster to my fondant, I don't want my cake to dry, so I'm just going to place a piece of baking paper over the top. So just using some gentle strokes across the fondant, I'm going to start applying the luster. And you can see after just one coat there's not much of a difference, but after a few more coats you can definitely see a nice gold sheen. Of course we've got to get working on covering the top half of the cupcake, so once again I'm just brushing on some simple syrup and then covering this top half with some white fondant. I'm going to press into the grooves that I've created on my cupcake swirl and trim off the excess fondant, again leaving a little bit of clearance which I need to tuck underneath. Now I'm just going to apply a nice layer of the buttercream frosting to the top of the base of the cupcake and place the top on. To close up the gap, I've just rolled out a long piece of white fondant which I'm going to stick onto the cake. And then I've added another little piece which goes at the front of the cake. This sits just above her eyes. I can now start working on the details for my limited edition Cupcake Queen. Firstly making her hands, and in one hand she holds a little kind of scepter with what I think is a little apple on top, some little pink sprinkles, her eyes, and her eyelashes, a little nose and her mouth. Cupcake Queen also wears a little tiara, and once these are all made I can add the gold luster to her hands and her tiara. Now it's just a matter of attaching everything onto the cake, and I'm using some skewers to insert and secure her hands to the body. And here she is, my cute little, well not so little, giant limited edition Cupcake Queen cake. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, don't forget to give it a like and make sure that you're subscribed to my channel so you can see cakes like this plus many more each week. I have on screen for you now some of my previous tutorials that you might like to check out. I'd love to hear who your favourite Shopkins is, so drop me a line in the comment section below and connect with me on Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram and Twitter. I hope you tune in next time guys, and as always, thanks for watching.